Okay, gang, this is day 4 of 5 where you have been able to hear from in our own family. You guys, you're hearing the top contributors, the top 30 that Facebook tells me are the ones that are posting the most or interacting with you guys. And so I wanted to bring as many of them as could come on this week and share with you different topics. And the response has been great because you guys are hearing what tonight's topic is once again one other step that I know you're anxious on hearing. So before I introduce them to you, I'm going to share tonight's topic with you guys. So here we go. So this is obviously Transformation Thursday, right? And in that, you have 3 more of our family. You have Joe, Kay, and Dennis. And they're going to share a little bit about how they got started with DDPY and how it is now for them, because many of you want to know, how do people even get started in this thing? What did that look like? What brought them here? So as always, I have told the panel, you say whatever makes sense to you, because they're going to relate to whatever part of this you want to say. So I just appreciate so much. You guys are so willing. I mean, it's amazes me when you say yes. It's like, oh, they said yes. I mean, it's awesome. So the first one we're going to toss the ball to, hot seat goes over to Joe. Joe, take it away. Whatever you say, my friend, is the right thing.
Yeah, so and my journey with weight loss has been a long time. I mean, I've had a lot of hills and valleys, and some success and some not so success. I developed type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and so it was March of 2024. My wife and I went on vacation during spring break to Florida and had a great time, but I was just in a lot of pain, a lot of swelling in my joints. And my wife, likes to be very active. I like to be active. I just physically can't always do it, or couldn't always do it. I've come a long way, but she wanted to take long walks on the beach, and I just was very lethargic and a lot of pain in my knees, in particular, back hurt. And I, sitting in vacation, just in the condo one morning, said, I've got to do something different. I've got to, no one's coming to rescue me. I've got to rescue myself. I've got to do this myself. And so I checked out DDPY yoga. I think I shared earlier, I shared a video actually to my students in class. And it was such a powerful video, and they really responded well to it. So I started checking out DDPY yoga, and I always wanted to become more flexible. Even when I was in the military and I was thin and in really good shape, I was never flexible. And so I thought, man, if I could learn to stretch and then lose weight and become healthy in the meanwhile, how great would that be? So I had the time during spring break, just get up a little bit earlier, and would sit outside looking at the Gulf of Mexico. And uh, DDP said, "Here's a list of things you want to get started. Do this list." And I said, "All right, I'm going to do it." And made that decision. Ordered the book right there on vacation, and when I came home, it was delivered to waiting for me in my house. And that was, I think, my first workout was March the 30th. I've lost 37 pounds. I haven't weighed in this month yet. 37 pounds. But the scale, I mean, that's nice, but it's how I feel. I really feel like I'm taking my life back. And I was at a camp this weekend, and we had some young men at this camp, and I was one of the session leaders. And we, at night, we saw a video, and it was this guy. Probably many of you have seen it, but he was going to solo climb El Cap, and it's this huge mountain. Very few people have ever climbed it, much less with no ropes. I mean, this guy I think he was probably a little insane, but whatever. He was going to do it with no ropes. Like if one slip and he falls. And we were watching this video and we're all just like, this guy's insane. Like, wow, but one of the things they literally showed this huge mountain, and I think it's like 3,700 feet this guy climbed with no ropes. And they showed in white, a white line, the approach that he would use. And to climb this insurmountable, people said it's impossible. You can't climb it solo without ropes. Of course, he did it, but he would go up. And then, in order to continue going up, he would literally have to go down and take another line up. So it wasn't one straight line, it was a line up, and then he'd go down, and then he would climb up, and then he maybe sideways, go up, and then climb back down. And I thought that's been this journey. I used to think you had to be perfect. Like if I have one bad day, or the scale doesn't show me what I want, or I miss a workout, oh, I've blown it. And I realize now that this is a journey, and there are going to be, I'm moving up, but some days I'm not going to be perfect. And this guy climbed this mountain, but sometimes he had to go down to get back up. And I thought he did it that way. And I think that's very true uh, with this journey. It's a process, and I'm committed to it. Some of the non-scale victories that I've had, being able to tie my shoes. I know for some people that may sound like, wow, you can't tie your shoes, but when you're big and heavy, you got a big belly with zero flexibility, bending over to tie your shoes, it can sometimes be a big deal. Picking something up off the floor.
I couldn't even see my shoes. So
Yeah.
I remember the day I thought, I think I could actually trim my toenails because I can see them now. I mean, yeah, it's very relatable.
Yeah. Seeing something on the floor. Before it was like, okay, I got to build up to this. Maybe I can hold onto the counter and get back. Now I'm like, hey, I can pick that up. I'll
Yeah.
just go over and bend down and pick it up. And, those are the type of victories that the scale doesn't show. And I don't really care what the scale says. I know when I'm getting healthy and when I'm feeling better. And so I don't really care what my weight is. People have asked me what my goal weight is. I set one at the beginning, but I don't care. I'll know when I'm there, when I'm healthy, and I'm not there yet. But it's like that journey. I'm progressing towards that. But being able to, my riding lawnmower, I've got a big yard, actually broke, and I've got friends who said, hey, you can borrow ours, but I'm a little funny about borrowing really expensive equipment. I've got a hill in my backyard. So I said, I think I could push my lawn, and I did that a few times
Mhm.
before my lawnmower came out. And outside of having to stop to put gas in my push mower, I did it in the heat of summer. I mean, it does get hot and humid in Ohio, believe it or not. And I was like, how big is that? That
Yeah.
I can literally push my yard. And it took hours and hours to do, but I felt great afterwards. So now my flexibility has increased. I'm still at beginner. I've done a couple intermediate with, but um, some of those positions I'm not good at. But Diamond says own it. Make the modifications, make it your own, and that's what I've done. Um, my knee pain has improved so much with the
Oh,
flexibility. I think I mentioned to you earlier, back in February, I took a CPR course, and they had little torso mannequins where you're trying the CPR, and they said, all right, get down. And this was carpet. This wasn't even like a concrete floor. Get down on your knees. And it was so painful. I couldn't even get down. And someone saw me struggling and was like, hey, I could get you a table. And, you know, my pride was like, no, there are people here older than me and they're on their knees, but I was in so much pain.
yeah.
I said, sure, that'd be great. And now I can I mean, really within a month of doing DDPY, I could get on my knees. I'm doing the stretches. So the non-scale victories are huge for me.
Wow. Joe, your story, I mean, seriously, makes me cry, but they're happy tears too.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for being so transparent with your journey, because I know in the 55 plus, pretty much everybody relates to when you're seeing other people do something and you know full well you can't. There's a shredding moment to that. Like, how can this be? You know, where did my life get to this spot that they can do this and I can't? And your story about going up the mountain, you are exactly right. This is about progress, never perfection. And it doesn't matter the speeds we go, but wow, your story is powerful. And even your minds. I love how you think. Holy crap, that's amazing. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
no one's going to come do it for me, and you either care enough about your why, which Diamond had us write down. My why, my wife, my granddaughters. I now have a third granddaughter that was born 2 weeks ago. I want to be around. I want to enjoy them. I don't want to sit on my chair and watch them play. I want to get down on the floor and play with them. That's not going to happen unless I do it. And so, like I said, no one's coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. And this program, for me, I can't think of anything better. I can't go out and jog. I don't want to join a gym because people are looking at you, and I
Okay.
get tired of doing the elliptical. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not. You don't really get excited doing that stuff. At least I don't. Day after day, this program is set up, and even groups like this, the over 55 group.
Yeah.
My goodness, you have every tool at your disposal.
Yes.
Just do it. I know that sounds cliche, but you've got to control your own life.
Yeah.
So,
Powerful. Well, we'll come back to you if you have any comments at the end. We're gonna go today now. But Dennis, just so you know, your camera for some reason isn't on. So just so you know, if there's a way you can get your camera back in, it's off. Okay, Kay, you're gonna represent the girlfriends in the crew. Tell us, you're always so fun too, by the way. So tell us
Okay.
what your journey has looked like for you.
Okay. I was 59 years old and had so many health problems. I didn't think I would cry.
Yep, here I go again.
Me too. Carpal tunnel in both hands. Getting on and off the floor was so hard.
Yeah.
Hip pain, foot pain, um, tennis elbow. I was weak. I was not flexible. And I wanted to be all of those things for my grandkids.
Yeah.
So I started the program, and the changes came slowly and almost like I didn't realize that things were changing. Um, I'm a musician, so I had given up on playing the piano because I would play and my hands would fall asleep. And when you can't feel your fingers, there's so many things you can't do. You can't trust yourself to hold a baby because your hands are going to go to sleep. You might drop them. You can't. There's just so many things, and keeping you awake at night. Waking up and your hands are asleep, and pins and needles. So that's the first thing that I noticed, and I was able to try out for our worship team at church, and I play quite often. No issues at all. And the only thing that I can think that really changed that for me was, when you do table and you do, this hand out, that leg out, and then when you return, okay, the hand you've had your weight on, okay, we're gonna work. I'm sure that is what did it. My mom went through multiple surgeries to try to fix hers. And, you know, it would work for a while and then the scar tissue would build in. She'd have to have it done again and again. And it never worked. This worked. My mobility of getting on and off the floor. I take care of my great niece. She's 6 months old. I can get down on the floor with her and never give it a thought. Where before it would be like, okay, I've got to plan where I'm getting on the floor because I have to have something to help me get back up off the floor. Hip pain, oh my goodness. Just, it was like they were continually out of place. But doing down dog, you know, it gets stuff back where it belongs, so you don't have this pain all the time. I can go barefoot now. I have never in all my years, I have always worn shoes in the house, out of the house, just because if I tried to walk barefoot, it just was unbearable. Just the pain. I just, and now I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to put my shoes on. I want to walk barefoot. This is so cool. And I know a lot of that is also from all the stretching of the feet. And my sister-in-law told me the other day she was going to go get a shot in her foot for the pain. She had the plantar, is it plantar fasciitis?
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't need a shot. Just do this. But she preferred the shot. Okay. And now I'm going to the gym 3 times a week. I know Joe said he didn't want to join a gym. I don't care who looks at me. I am going and I am lifting weights and I am so much stronger than I was. I'm 60 now and I cannot believe how this has changed my life.
Yeah.
Because at 59, when I was struggling with those things, I don't know if I wouldn't have found this program, where would I be? Would I be having surgery on my hands? Would I be getting shots in my feet? Would I be getting shots in my, where would I be? I'm amazed and thankful.
Whoa.
And sorry, I cried.
I'll tell you what, I am gonna label this box of Kleenex because you guys seriously, and I already know enough of Dennis's story that I'm gonna be crying for his too, because you guys are, this is powerful, honestly. The 3 of you, and of course I'll toss the ball to Dennis next, but Dennis, the first time he sent me a workout video they was doing that I was going to look at just to see, you know, what ideas I would give him. And I watched that video. I cried like a baby thinking, because at that point, Dennis, you were grabbing things. The workout was, first of all, it was in total red, right? It wasn't in the target zone. It was full red, but he was also grabbing everything because of his balance being so bad. And I saw the warrior in Dennis. And I thought, let me be that kind of person that could face that much adversity and know that I'm going to find my way out. And hopefully, Pam, you'll help me. But he already knew before he reached out to me, he already knew he was going to come against this battle. So Dennis, now my nose is running too. This is going to get so ugly. But Dennis, share your journey with us.
I don't think you can see me, and that's fine.
No,
That's absolutely
you're
fine.
kind of locked, but we can totally see your face and the palm tree, fake palm tree, but we can totally see you. So that's great. Go ahead and talk. We just can't see the audible part of your mouth moving.
She said she didn't know where she'd be without this program. I know exactly where I'd be without it. So, I had 2 strokes. I had one back in July of 2016. And then I had another one in May of 2022. And I just basically had given up because I didn't see any hope other than sitting in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And a friend of mine told me about DDPY, which I had no clue who DDP was or other than the fact that I remember seeing some blonde-headed, fuzzy-headed wrestler one time, and that's all I knew about it. So anyway, I went online and I looked at a couple of videos. I think Pam's was one of them that I looked at, and I thought, well, this is worth giving a try. So I signed up that night, and like I said, I'd pretty much given up. We have a 5 acre farm. It's what's left of the farm that I grew up on. But we had goats and we had chickens and we had ducks and we got a big garden and a big lawn and all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't do any of it. So here I was sitting in a wheelchair looking at all this work that needed to be done. I couldn't do it. So I was always relying upon somebody else. We had to get rid of our animals because it was coming on winter, and Liz would have to go out and break up all the ice and do all the chores and stuff. So it was really kind of sad. But um, another thing that happened was I could not converse with people.
Yeah.
I would lose my train of thought. I would lose words. I'd lose places. I'd lose names, and it was embarrassing. And so I just quit talking to people. I turned my phone onto silent. I would not answer my phone. I figured if they wanted to talk to me, they could leave a message and I'd text them back. And the only reason I ever talked on the phone was if Liz was around to kind of get me out in case I stumbled. I was just in a bad spot, in a bad place. And like I said, I didn't care if I lived or died. I lived, I'm going to be 80 in this fall. So I lived 79 years at that point, and I figured I'd had my run and I was ready to go. Uh, but all that changed just recently. I just remember, I don't even know when it happened. But now, I mean, now I'm talking. I just came back from a birthday party where there was over 100 people there, friends and family who I hadn't seen for a while, and I conversed with whoever I wanted to. I wasn't afraid or I wasn't ashamed or anything. So I don't know when that happened, and I have no idea how DDPY can affect a person's ability to communicate, other than the fact that it's a confidence builder.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what it was. But what I do is I know Joe was talking about, all the different exercises that he does, or how many, whatever he does. I've done it really. I only do about 2 or 3, and I've done them so many times that I can turn the volume off, and I know all the delices, inflections, and all his jokes and everything else. So I just, but I do 2 or 3 every day, and I do the what's that one called, Pam? The thing in the morning.
Oh, the
Renew
bed.
bed. I knew
Yeah,
yeah, I knew
number one.
yeah, I do the renew bed every morning. That's the first thing I do when I get up.
Yeah.
And then I'll do something else. And I usually walk 2 or 3 different times, little 10-minute walks with a cane, with a walker, and with these walking sticks, because that's one of the things I want to get back. I want to get back my walking. I the stroke, this last stroke that I had, it affected the part of the brain that's affected when you drink too much. So I look like I'm constantly drunk walking down the road, and I hope I can get all that back. But it's going to take practice. It's going to take a lot of time. And I was talking to Pam this afternoon. It's getting to making myself realize that it is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yes.
When I saw DDPY and I saw Arthur Borman's and I saw Pam's and I saw a couple others, and I thought, hey, all I got to do is just do a few of these exercises and I'm going to be good as new. Well, it doesn't quite work that way, but it gets better every day. And some days Matt says some days are good, some days are bad, or no, he doesn't say they're bad. Some days are good, some days are better. And that's where I'm at right now. I have some good days. I have some really good days. But one of the things that Pam taught me is, I'm from the old school, probably Joe is too. He can probably relate to this. Everybody says there's no pain or there's no gain without pain. You learn that in football practice, you learn it in basketball, whatever sport you were in. You learn there's no no gain without pain, and they put you through the pain. Well, that was kind of what I was looking at. I figured if I wasn't in the red, if I wasn't beating myself up, I wasn't gaining any muscle, I was making no progress. And she said, it's the green zone where your progress is. It's in the green zone. And it took me a while. She had to beat that into my head. Well, she doesn't beat. She's a little sweetie, but she didn't beat me. But she certainly did keep after me to get back into that green, stay out of the red. And I do a pretty good job of staying out of the red. One of the things that has helped me is, excuse me, I document everything.
Yeah.
I've got a spreadsheet that I document all my workouts on, and a spreadsheet and a Word document. I do it verbally, and I also do it on a spreadsheet. So I know exactly how many steps I take every day. I know how many ounces of water I drink every day. I know all this stuff. Keep it all right in front of me, so I know that I'm making progress.
That is so key to your success. I'm telling you, it is so key, you guys, because those non-scale victories come if you're only documenting, right? So every week he's given me the exact number of steps and exact ounces of water that he drank. And really, Dennis, from the very beginning, I thought to myself, my gosh, first of all, best student award, because anything I ever asked, it was like you mastered it in a week, right? Your hunger for breakthrough was so powerful, Dennis, that whatever I said, I was always concerned, don't say too much because he'll do it. You know he's going to do it. But that's the kind of warrior you are. You have fought. And I don't know if you guys in the 55 plus, he's put videos where he's taken his tractor out into his yard somewhere, got off it just to pick up a tree limb, a little twig that, and to watch what he fights for, to go down and pick up a tree twig and put it in the thing. This man fights to serve his household, his family. Dennis, when you told me I don't want someone to have to take care of me, I want to fight my way back, that was would you say that was probably your strongest driving force of why?
Yeah, I was just going to say another thing that I do is I said that I keep a Word document. I document every workout that I do and all the stuff. And if there's any irregularities in my mindset, I note that so that I can go back and look at it. If it's just a regular day, I don't make any notations about it. But if there's irregularities, like this morning, I was doing that renew bed thing, and I've never gone into the red hardly at all. But this morning I went up to 122 beats per minute, which is maybe not too high for somebody. It might not be dangerously high, but it was high compared to what it usually is. And so I noted that. Now I can go back and I can look and make Pam can relate to it. I can relate to it. But I think that's important is to keep tabs of where you are, whether it's on a spreadsheet or whether it's, your mindset or what. But I think that's been a big help.
Yeah. So those things are on our app, you guys. Like you were in 43% below, 20% in the zone and all that. Those are in the app. But what has amazed me about you, Dennis, is you go out of your way to also document it in in a format, so you also can look and say, yeah, even on that walk today, I was able to keep myself in that green zone. First week, first day you and I started together, I went into his app to see how he looked like, and everything was a red zone. Every single workout was like red, 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 red. So when we got together, I said, this is your assignment for week number 1. I don't want to see any more red. Can you give me green this week on everything you do? Just fight for green. I really I don't know what I was expecting from you, Dennis, but I know I wasn't expecting you to actually nail it in 1 week. But that's the warrior that you are. You have hit what lots of people would call lower than a snake's belly. But honestly, hey, the stories you were sharing too, right? And
Yes.
Joe, when you lose quality, there is a spot in you either can give up and accept it, or you can choose. And I really didn't know how powerful your panel would be, but you guys, seriously, the three of you really do represent, could have given up, but I wasn't going to. So I'm going to run this one more round. And anything that you want to add here in the end before we close out? Joe, you go ahead and go first. Anything that comes to mind you think our 55 plusers need to hear?
Probably the most powerful thing that we have, or that a person can have, and when they lose this, they typically die, is hope. And right now, if you're watching this and you haven't started a program, and you've failed different programs, and you realize, maybe you've even given up, and you realize, I can't do this. What you're lacking is hope, and just starting this program quickly renews that hope. And if you have hope, then you can fight for yourself, and you can fight to live another day. And so I would encourage you just to begin this journey. It's worth it. But like DDP says, I mean, you have to put the work in. It's not magically going to happen. You're going to sweat, you're going to huff and puff, you're going to be sore, but that's putting in the work. So, and you're worth it. And again, one last thing, look at your why that you had written down. Those people need you.
Yeah.
They need you. Your children need you, your parents need you, your grandchildren need you around. Do it ultimately for yourself, but keep that in the back of your mind, and that will help keep you motivated.
Yeah. Okay, Kate, try to follow that one,
All
girlfriend.
right. All right. I'm going to say life is hard. Being sedentary is hard.
Yeah.
Being active is hard. Sitting in your recliner is hard. Doing DDPY is hard. Pick your hard.
Yep, that pretty much lays it right out there, Gay.
It's all hard. Just pick your hard. One hard is going to lead to a lot of problems, and the other hard is going to lead to what Dennis talked about, where you gain your confidence back, and like Joe talked about, where you gain your flexibility back. They're both hard. Just pick.
Oh my word, yes. Wow. Okay, Dennis, you get to take it on home, my friend. What are your last closing thoughts for our family?
I agree with Joe 100%. This did provide hope for me, and hope is the key. One thing I forgot to mention, and I should have mentioned it, is DDPY is an awesome program, but this rehab program is incredible. It's given us another tool that we can put in our toolbox, and whether it's knee or shoulder hab, or, well, I've only done knee hab, so that's the only one I can talk about. But it's incredible, and like I say, I've done it so many times. I know Matt's voice inflections. I know everything about it. Even though I've done it so many times, I still have a long way to go. But I love it because it gives you a step by step, and it's not just go out there and stand on your head and be pretty. It's to make you well, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, the physical therapy piece, you guys, if you've not stepped into that and know that it even exists, I'm telling you, that's the new, we launched April 3rd, and that's the new power gift they gave all of us. I've lived the Nehab one ever since day launch one. And I think you did that one as well, Dennis, was the Nehab. But the back ones, every bit of those PTs are just amazing. So
The shoulder one. It has literally saved my life. I just can't even believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But there's a lot of workouts that are on the app that don't work well for those that have the shoulder issue.
mhm,
So I was really glad that that was in place because
yes.
yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much. You are such a giant blessing. You know I'm going to ask you again another time, right? I mean, you know this is coming. But thank you for giving us the time for Transformation Thursday. You guys are all three making giant transformations. So proud of you.
Thank you for all you do.
Love
Thank
you
you.
guys.